without further ado, as our salad course, the red meat of David Limbaugh. David?
Thank you, Ed, very much. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'll get right into it. As he said, you guys will not have the real red meat until I'm done, but I'll give you the imitation red meat for now and hold you over, or at least I'll try to. With all the excesses of the Obama administration, what I'm most distressed about is the complacency on our side. I have a law partner who is probably as conservative as I am, although that's probably not possible, but is not bugged about what's going on because he isn't as engaged in politics, and second, doesn't really believe that somebody could be up to what Obama is up to and trying to implement. I want to wake our side up out of the apathy, or help to wake our side up. Obama wasn't kidding when he said he wanted to make fundamental changes. And I have to say, for the first time in my life, I'm actually afraid that my kids won't grow up and live in the same nation that we are living in today. That they might end up impoverished and in slavery in a way that is unimaginable to us. Obama came onto the national scene riding a perfect storm with a financial crisis. He recognized as an opportunity to actualize his years of training as a Chicago community organizer. He inspires a cultist attraction, has a spooky messiah complex that is nurtured and exacerbated by a fawning mainstream media. A media either so corrupt that they can't or won't report on his penchant for compulsive deception. Now, I speak my words deliberately. His every policy address is a virtual seminar in doublespeak. Every other paragraph pregnant with internal contradictions, always pretending to be something for everybody. And all of this, the media dutifully conceals. He says he has a transparent administration. He's only selectively transparent. He says he's bipartisan and not polarizing. Yet a bipartisan poll says he is the most polarizing president in recent history. When confronted with a demand to compromise or a request to compromise, he says, "I won," with arrogance. He says in his speech, "I don't intend to relitigate the past 8 years," and he proceeds, every paragraph following and every sentence following, relitigating the past 8 years, scapegoating President Bush's administration. He claims to be a proponent of fiscal responsibility, and yet deliberately is piling up record deficits. He claims he is an advocate of personal responsibility, and yet has us bail out mortgage debtors who can't pay their mortgage, who wants to reverse welfare reform, which has had bipartisan support. He says he respects the pro-life position, but he militantly supports partial birth abortion. He says he is a proponent of capitalism as he dismantles systematically our capitalistic system. He says he wants to make America safer as he undermines our national security. Now, the framers established a system of limited government, but warned that the Constitution alone wouldn't preserve our liberties in the absence of a national moral fabric. You know that John Adams said the Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. Well, we can't continue to abandon traditional moral principles and preserve our system of government because it's based on the unwavering principle that man is made in God's image and thus entitled to dignity, freedom, and God-given rights that no government can take away. But Obama is systematically abandoning these principles across the board with a radical assault on our God-given liberties and expanding the government's role. And this expansion is fueled by a disrespect for our founding principles and a belief in a government-created perfect society. Our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness are in jeopardy. On the life issue, Obama restored taxpayer funding of overseas abortion providers with a stroke of an executive pen. He reinstituted federal funding of embryonic stem cell research. He's considering overturning the Hyde Amendment, which bans the use of Medicaid conscience protections. And he militantly supports partial birth abortion and has supported the Infant Born Alive Act, or the version of it in Illinois. So, on judges, we all know he supports the idea of empathy-based jurisprudence and judicial activism and reverse racism. He's hostile to the idea of blind, impartial justice because he wants the judicial branch to be a policy-making branch because it's unaccountable to the electorate. And folks, this sounds cliche, but it happens to be true. And he also, today we just read that he lifted the rule on not providing lawyers, counsel for illegal immigrants. He's now going to provide counsel for illegal immigrants. If you haven't read today's news, he is a transnationalist who believes that federal judges ought to apply foreign law when interpreting the United States Constitution. On the issue of the environment, we have a dominant media culture which has declared a false scientific consensus on catastrophic man-made global warming with the purpose of shutting down debate. They ignore that some 31,000 scientists disagree. They use this crisis mentality to attack capitalism, shut down progress, and send us back to the Stone Age. Now he's implementing this cap and trade debacle and cafe standards, and now we read on the websites that the fringe leftists, and I'm not so sure they're fringe, want to jail global warming deniers. Obama will tout energy independence while he keeps us from drilling in Anwar or offshore, and he prevents us from developing nuclear power while encouraging Iran to do so. Concerning free speech, First Amendment, this government actually singles out and targets private individuals who disagree with it. They want federal control of the internet. They want right-wingers targeted as terrorists. They talk in these code words that our conversation on the internet is chatter. Chatter is code for terrorist threat. Imminent terrorist attack, actually. They have talk radio targeted you people. These are fighting words. Talking not just because Rush is my brother, Hannity and Levin are my good buddies. This is serious stuff. Thinking about cutting, suppressing political speech of your opponents. The very reason the First Amendment was enacted in the first place. This administration has declared war on achievement. It rewards and subsidizes failure. It promotes mediocrity, even in their commencement addresses. Obama and his wife. They have declared a war on capitalism, business, producers. They promote class warfare, generating envy and covetousness among people. They say the rich don't pay their fair share when we know that the top 1% of income earners pay some 40% of their taxes. The top 5% pay some 60%.